So we should be going live now. Hello everyone, hope everyone is good. Yeah, so welcome to my my stream. I'm going to be cooking today English muffins and PKU risotto. Say hello in the chat if you are with us this afternoon on this very warm Sunday. Yeah, so I'm just going to make sure that all my volumes are set okay, so it's not going to come through and deafen people. Yeah, so say hello in the chat, it'd be great. Let us know what's going on, how people are, that sort of thing. Yeah, so we are now going to crack on. I've got the recipe, so I'm just going to put the recipe in the chat. This is the recipe. So that's the recipe that you have in terms of what we're doing today. I've got it here in physical form. So yeah, hopefully you're having a good Sunday. And yeah, we are going to crack on. I've practiced actually today for the first time, which is good. Hello Monica. Hello Tamara. Yeah, so we are going to crack on with looking at how to do risotto and PKU English muffins. PKU risotto and PKU English muffins. It's too warm. That's what it is. It's too warm. So I hope everyone is good. We had a chat yesterday with Alex Pinto that you are more than welcome to look at after this. It was quite a good hour-and-a-half chat. So yeah, that's on the YouTube channel. That's up and going, sort of thing. So we are going to do English muffins to start off with, because the risotto takes a little bit of time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the English muffins. I've actually tried them this morning or this afternoon, and that went quite well. So we are going to get our bowl, okay, and then what we're going to do, as you can see in the recipe that I've posted in the chat, we're going to basically do the basic recipe for what dough balls are at the moment. Hello Reba, how are you doing? This is me doing my YouTubing life, obviously. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to empty the whole of this packet. Although we're only going to be able to use about a third of it, we want to use the whole of the packet to make up the dough that we need to make the muffins, basically. So we're going to add this in. I wasn't cooking to death, but before this I had my window open that's just here. But then when I do my streaming, I get paranoid that, and basically everyone's in their garden around my area, that people are going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Just talking to himself on a stream, which, to be fair, that is all that I'm doing. So, yeah. So I've had to shut the window. I'll slowly get more and more pink and more red as it goes along. But hey ho, what are you going to do? I'm doing this all to help and improve my cooking skills and improve other people's cooking skills. So that's all good. Good thing that we have, if you've noticed from previous streams, we actually have a bigger camera at the back of us today. That is a better camera, which means that we're actually going to get a better angle out of it. So if we transition to the back, hey, look, and that is in actual motion of my hand. Whereas in previous things, it's kind of gone blurred. So we're back and we have a better setup. There's a wire going through here, which is not the most classiest, but I'll find a better way of doing it. But the grand thing is that you can see now in full HD my hobs, if you wanted to see my hobs. So it's much clearer. Yes, it is, Tamara. Yes, it is much clearer. Okay, so we're going to put the yeast in. So obviously this, I'm using Juvella low protein. You can use whatever you want, as long as it's got a yeast component inside, because that's what we need. Proper YouTuber, I am a proper YouTuber now, yes. I'm slowly investing in my kit, that's the problem. I like buying tech, so I'm slowly investing in my kit, and that's, yeah. So we actually have proper camera set up. And 2 lights, because obviously I'm cooking at about 5 PM, so if I turn off that light you can see quite a bit of a difference. So yeah, the setup is quite, I'll actually take a picture and post it on the social media, what my setup is. There's a lot now to it. It's very it's getting slowly more and more complicated as the streams go on, because this, I realised the other day, is my 14th stream, which is a lot. I didn't think I'd done 14 streams, but apparently I have, and this is the 14th one. So what we're going to do now, we've stirred in the yeast into the flour. What we're going to do now is we're going to get our sunflower oil and our spoons. Where did I put my spoons? I put my spoons somewhere. There they are. Hiding. Right, so we're going to do 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil in here. So 2 tablespoons. Obviously I'm using the spoons, you can use however you want. I'm using sunflower oil, you can use vegetable or sunflower, it's all good. No, that's 14 cooking streams is just cooking on its own. It's not including these podcast things that I'm doing now. I've done 4 of them, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of cooking streams. But obviously, at the start of lockdown, I used to do it. And we're just getting tepid water now. Don't worry. I used to do it every week, didn't I? So we want your water to get to tepid, and then we're going to add it into the oil. Yeah, so 14 cooking streams on its own. If you've been here for all of them, which I know my mum has, but I don't. Other people have slowly come and joined. Question: is it the same if you use olive oil? I imagine you'd be able to use olive oil, especially for the frying stuff that we do. You'll be able to use olive oil. I don't see the components being too much more different. Give it a go. Let me know, Monica. But I don't see necessarily much of an issue. Is that the Spanish inside of you that wants you to use olive oil for everything? It's like a loyalty scheme where you have to, if you're Spanish, you have to just use olive oil for everything. Right, so tepid water. Obviously tepid has just come out the tap quite warm. And we're going to add this in. Okay, we're going to move this a bit to the side because it's going to get a little bit messy. So we're going to stir this around. It will get harder and harder to stir. Don't worry. My cooking has come on. Yes, it has come on quite well. And I'm actually going to do kneading now, which is something that I never did until this recipe. So what you want to do is you want it to kind of become into one big ball. As you can see there, it's kind of one big ball. Tell this a joke. Oh. Sometimes my cooking is the joke, Reba. That's the point. Sometimes the mess that I make. My mum actually said to me that I'm the Swedish chef out of the Muppets, which I found offensive at the start, but also quite true. So, as I like to get messy. So, we're now going to put flour on our work surface, really helping the Swedish chef label. Making it nice and messy on your surface. I'm going to move my phone as much as I want white powder on my phone. I don't think I do. Hello Anita, how are you? Are you sunning yourself? Are you getting a tan? Wish I was, but then I'd just go pink. So that's your joke for you, Reba. is that I look like a, what are the pink and white sweets? Where you got half pink and half white. That's what I look like, basically. So, now what we're going to do is, we are going to put this on our work surface. And what we're going to do now is we're going to knead our bread. Okay, so, again, make sure you've got flour close to hand. And it's quite wet, this one is, compared to before. So you just want to put a little bit of flour on the top, just to kind of make it a little bit more less wet. You want to knead. So how you knead, if you don't know how to knead, it's just use your palms to push it away. When I say I don't know how to knead, I googled how to knead. Watched a YouTube video. This is the real, as it's saying somewhere, going along my screen on the top, I'm not a professional chef. And that is what I'm not. I'm just a person that happens, starting to stick to the surface, so you want to put a little bit more on the surface. I'm just a person that happens to want to talk to random people on the internet, instead of actually doing teaching or filmmaking. You're a professional YouTuber. I'm not a professional YouTuber. It's not an occupation. Fortunately, my mortgage, they don't accept the occupation of professional YouTuber. So don't just do the sides. You want to do front. Viva's causing trouble. She's getting people to agree that I'm a YouTuber. I just make content, wherever that happens to be. It doesn't. Okay, so you're gonna need this for about 5 minutes. While we're going to finish kneading, we're going to put a pan on the back here with a bit of a medium heat. And with this, you want to add in just 1 tablespoon of oil, ready for your balls, or your dough, your basically your muffins to be done. Okay, so that's just going to heat up while we finish the kneading process. And the idea is you're trying to get this to be a bit elasticy. Again, I'm not a professional. I learned this about 6 hours ago on YouTube. Fun things is that obviously I got sent for a spatula because people were so annoyed with me using metal on pans, which I know is bad, but I was doing it. So you will be seeing the new spatula, new and improved spatula that shouldn't hurt people's ears. Shouldn't be the operative word. Right, so now that's looking quite good. Okay, now what you want to do with this mixture is, I won't wash my hands at the moment, is you want to just take a ball of it and make it into about, you're looking, on the recipe it says 5 centimetres long and 1 inch thick. So we've got a little ball here, if you can see. There you go, there's the ball. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flatten it down a bit to make it into a muffin. And the idea is you use 1/3 of this dough. Okay, if you have a conveyor belt going on, then obviously you can keep using it. You can keep going through the dough and all that sort of stuff. More than welcome to. I got about 4 in my frying pan earlier, and that seemed to work. So you just want to make them, and then you want to crush them a bit. So you want to make them into a ball and then flatten them out. As you can tell, you can kind of see the rough idea that we're going for in this. Have people been enjoying the sun then? Or have people been avoiding it? I've been trying to get out there. In moderation. So you want them kind of relatively the same amount of size, because otherwise they're going to take a lot. They're going to be a lot longer to cook. Okay, so that's heating up nicely. I'm just going to wash my hands just so then I can send you to the second camera. Okay, so if we're going to go to the back now, we're going to have a look at how these get added in. Boom. To hearing about my new job. Oh, so yeah, I started my new job this week. I'll explain that when these have gone in. So you want to add these in. You want it on a medium heat. Look at how clear that second camera is now. Oh, so much better. Okay. So, for people that have watched the stream previously, are people happy at the quality of that second camera? You can actually see me wave now, and it's in real time. He says the battery will probably run out at some point. But, right, so that's going to be heating itself up. I'm going to get my fish slice there ready for it. And then we're going to come back and I'll make some more, just in case. So my new job, so I'm a senior lecturer now. Bizarre. I'm a senior lecturer now at Leeds Arts University. I started that this week. When I say started, I mean just remotely talk to a lot of people that are also at home but claiming that they work for Leeds. So I assume that they work for Leeds. They're giving me all the logins. But officially, I go on campus in the 1st of September. So there's still a bit of time left for me not to feel like I'm a senior lecturer. Twitch, no. Twitch does not beckon me, no. So continue on about the job. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm running a whole of a third year of a filmmaking course. So I'm sure that they'd love to see this content of me cooking and going, that's my lecturer. And I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, so that's what I do. That's what I'm doing at the moment when I'm not cooking or chatting to other PKU people. So, yeah. Will I need to move? No, I don't need to move to Leeds because it's only for half a week. So what I'll do is I'll either commute up there every day or stay in a hotel overnight and just do a few days in Leeds and then come back. And then the rest of the time I have to do more cooking, make more content, work freelance. So that's kind of the good thing is that I can still make stuff as well as teach. So it's not full time in terms of 5 days a week. I don't want to do that yet again because I've already done that. That's too much work. As my pan is delightfully having a hissy fit. So actually the capture device that I've got rigged up to this camera now, a little bit of tech for you guys, I can capture my games consoles now. So I don't want to become a gaming YouTuber or Twitch streamer. I'll stick to cooking. Gaming I like too much to try and turn into a job. I think I'd start to hate it then. But yeah, so we'll go back to the thing. You can see that it's slowly making progress. So I'll go back. I'm just going to show off the fact that I've got a nice second camera now. Okay. So you might want to turn it up. The idea is you want to turn it up to medium heat. I'll put the recipe in the chat again so people can have a look. The idea is that you're going to have this at a medium heat, and then we're going to take it down to a lower heat, and you're going to do about 5 minutes on either side. Okay, and then what we're going to do is you're going to make them cool, and then we're going to chop them in half, and then we're going to grill them, or you could toast them, but they're too small for me to toast. So I'm going to grill them and then we're going to do margarine and with a bit of jam. So it was very nice. It was my lunch earlier, and I haven't died yet, so I can testify that it's a decent recipe. And then once we've done these muffins, we'll then do the risotto, which shouldn't take too long. I have all the veg and stuff prepped. And it's not just a mushroom risotto. Everybody thinks when you're saying risotto, it's a mushroom risotto. No. So that's slowly working. I'll just turn it down a bit. So I'm on 3 out of 6. No, so these are to cook in a frying pan. You'd think because they're breaded that they would go in the oven, but these are purely frying pan based. They're not anything to do with oven. They rise actually in this process, which is quite unusual really, because everything you'd expect to kind of put in the oven, in a sense. So yeah, so it's just doing its thing. We'll give that a few more minutes and then I'll flip them. We won't do any more, but if I bring you back to the front, you can see that that's how much dough I've kind of got left, in a sense. And then you've got about 4 of the correct amounts. So if you really like them, you can keep making more, in a sense. But I'm just going to do those 4 as that's the test kind of thing. And then we'll move on to the risotto. Okay, so I'm just going to put that back in there. And then tidy this up while we wait. So if there's any questions, the idea is that you're kind of slow cooking these, you're not just blasting them with heat. So I'm just going to wipe the surface down. Anita, did you enjoy Alex's chat yesterday? I saw you trying to get him to do militant things, telling him how to correct the UK system and all that. Yep, so I'm just doing this and then we're going to work on the risotto. But I'm basically going to do the risotto once the muffins are done, because we're going to need 2 pan spaces with the risotto. So rather than take up it all and just having multiple things at once. Okay, so we don't need any more flour. That can be put down to the side. It's getting there, as you can see probably now. It was great. He'll be on his way home. Yep, so he'll be flying tonight to Portugal, Alex is. So if we come back, is that the furthest it can go in? Okay. So if you can see, you can see the little cracks starting to form on them. I mean, the air's coming out. Okay, so if I move this down actually. Whoop. Okay, so you can see them now doing their thing, cooking away. So that's the good thing now with my camera setup, is that I can make it beautifully zoomed in. Okay, so you can see what they're doing now. They're bubbling away. And you just kind of want, because they've gone in together, just want to kind of check the base. You want to get a bit of colour onto the base, okay? So you don't. If I show you what the base is slowly getting colour. If you can see, look. Can you see there? Slowly getting colour, but you want more colour. So it's going to take a little bit of time. We might turn it up a little bit, but not too much. So yeah, that's what's going on. They look nice, thanks Monica. Yeah, they turn out good. I They come out looking pale, which obviously quite a lot of PKU bread items do come out looking pale. If I come back, yeah, so they do look pale, but also you add a little bit of margarine, or we've got jam that we're going to use and stuff like that, and that slowly gives it a bit more colour and a bit more interest into what it looks like. But yes, obviously quite a lot of, but they do look nice. They do come out looking good. The idea is you just want a little bit of colour on the other side. Otherwise it just looks pale consistently, if you know what I mean. So, I'll make sure I get rid of this dough, otherwise it will stick. Okay. And then I'll talk you through while this is doing its thing, because it only need a few more minutes and then we'll switch it. Of the rest of the ingredients that we have for the risotto. Okay, so again, that's the ingredients list. What we have is we have 100 grams of rice. So it can be any rice, doesn't matter, any rice that you want. 100 grams of it. We have 50 grams of finely chopped red peppers and 50 grams of celery. We also then have 75 grams of carrot, finely chopped, and 75 grams of onion. And then we have 50 grams of sliced mushroom, and we have some garlic, obviously with my jar of garlic, some salt and pepper, and then some tomato puree just to kind of thicken it up. And that's typically, and a little bit of margarine to mix in with the oil. And that's really all that you need. When I say all, there's quite a lot of little ingredients there, but there is like small amounts of the little ingredients. And yes, you can do like mushroom risotto, which is mainly just mushroom. But the reason why I chose this one was it's quite mixed veg, in a sense. It's got quite a lot of different veg in it, which I think is quite good for getting in different nutrients rather than just saying having mushrooms. Because I know some people don't like mushrooms. So this is kind of, will negate that. So, should we go check out the stuff at the back now? Okay. So, it's still got a little bit of colour to go. If you can see, it's got a little bit of colour, that does. Might turn it up a little bit more. That's getting there. But we want to give it a little bit more. But the idea is you make sure that they are still split from one another. Okay, so we'll give that a little bit of time. In the meantime, what we can do is that we can heat up your rice. Okay, so I have a pan at the back here, which I will just, well, basically I've just got a pan full of water that I'm just going to heat up. Okay, and we're just going to heat up and then we're going to add the rice in when we need it. But that will take a little bit of time to heat up, so hopefully by the time that's heating up, the muffins would have relatively been done. And then we can crack on with the risotto. So, yeah. I've just got coffee to keep me awake. It's like endorsement. So yeah, I hope everyone is good. Hope everyone is enjoying the stream. And yeah, we've got olive oil for later on. So, and it's actually Spanish extra virgin olive oil, so Monica will be happy. So, the rice water is heating up. This is now slowly bubbling, slowly cooking itself away. I will get out while I wait. My new additions, which were sent by Suzanne from the NSPKU. So they're my new additions. I have my spatula and I have a scraper which gets it out of the bowl easier. So thank you, Suzanne, for them. You shall never see me use, hopefully, a metal utensil in a pan again. Hopefully. How long do I cook these for? So the muffins, you cook typically when it's heated up, when the oil was heated up, because it wasn't officially heated up when I did it. 5 to 10 minutes per side. And then once they're cooked, you let them cool down, and then we're going to do the slicing and grilling and that sort of thing. But we'll do that while the risotto's in full flow. Do you think the muffins could be savoury, like McDonald's did the breakfast muffin, possibly like mush? I could well imagine that they could. The process is pretty much the same. The only thing is that you'll probably add it in the stage of when you're kneading. That's when you should add in the ingredients, when you're kneading the dough. So yeah, I'm sure you can add in anything that you want. I would be careful a little bit, because the more that you add in that is quite liquid based, the more that's going to drop to the bottom, and the more you're going to have like half dough, half kind of like ingredients. So always bear that in mind. So these are pretty much done now, so we're just going to flip them. So we're going to come over here, let's flip them. Okay, so you can see they've got a bit of colour now to them. They've got a little bit of yellow, a little bit of golden on them, that sort of thing. So that's going to now do its thing for the next 5 to 10 minutes again. So I'll leave you on that a bit. All grilled and halved. Yep. See, I put the margarine on. I put the margarine on in the grilled stages. So there's no reason why you can't do that with the if you wanted to include cheese or something like that. You are more than welcome to. So yeah, by all means, that is fine. I'd probably add in cheese that stage. I'm just going to have it with jam to have it as a sweet item. I'm just filling up my bowl ready for the pan, so when it's done. Another thing that I was going to actually put in the risotto is green beans. Now these green beans are a bit long, so what we're going to do is I've just defrosted them a bit. So we're now going to chop these down into a bit smaller. Okay, so if you use fresh, this is nice and easy. But what we're going to do is we're just going to chop these down, because obviously the smaller that they are, when I move these out of the way, because then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so the smaller that they are, the easier they will cook, especially if you're doing them with frozen. So if you're doing them from frozen, obviously they're going to have a bit of moisture already in them. So you just want to make sure they're kind of not a full bean, that they are chopped up. Okay, so now that's nice and chopped up, that's ready to go. So as you can tell, this risotto is going to have quite a lot of veg in it. And quite a lot of health in this risotto. Okay, so the if I just zoom out a bit, just going to get the camera set up so that you can see where the rice is going. Okay, cool. So you can see them now bubbling away. Just make sure they move around a bit, especially if a little bit like my hob, it's a little bit uneven with the power distribution. So the green beans are free. These ones. As far as I know, I'm sure that they're free. Okay, so that's just doing its thing now. So we've got this going, we've got the risotto going, or waiting to go. The rice water is going to be bubbling away. The rice and the risotto is actually going to be the first thing that finishes. I'm sure green beans, as far as I know, are free. Someone will correct me in the chat if not. But I believe that they're free. Yeah, the thin long ones. Yeah, so these are the thin long ones that obviously I've chopped down. Yeah, so everything that I try and cook anyway is free food, free from exchanges, because I know that loads of people have various different exchange ranges. So I try and do free from exchanges because that's the hard food to get, in a sense, especially as a meal based. So this water's bubbling up. These are slowly cooking. Yeah. I'll take you to the back now and we can put our rice in. Okay, so this is now bubbling up. I normally do the biggest pan that I can because obviously if you've ever used low protein rice, and obviously you can use normal rice and weigh it out and that sort of thing, but it's a little bit more messy. And obviously I'm trying to do this as free food. The more water you have, the less starchy it's going to actually come out. So a tip that they actually do is you want lightly salted water to bring to boil. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in. Okay. So put in a little bit of salt. Okay. And then this is now bubbling away. There you go. It's to boil. We're going to add in the rice. Bring it down a bit in temperature because otherwise if you shut the lid when it's on a boil it will bubble over. Yes, go get the green beans, Monica. That would be great. So these are now going to be cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes. This rice is going to be cooking. Okay, and then these are going to be prime example of it overflowing. So I'm actually going to leave the lid off. And it's just going to get hot in here, or I could reduce it down, pop it on, give it a little bit of thing. Cool. So these are now done. As you can tell, they've got a bit of colour now. Yep. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move these onto the cooling rack. Okay, we're going to move them onto the cooling rack. We're going to put the frying pan in there, in the water, that's why you have it waiting. Now what we're going to do is we're going to leave that hob going because I want to obviously cook myself, silly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our pan. We're going to put about 40 grams of margarine in the pan. So this is the pan that we're going to be using. So if we get our scales, okay, so we're going to do our 40 grams of margarine. Don't worry, the metal isn't going to go in the thing, don't worry. So you put 40 grams of margarine. The recipe actually says that butter gives a better taste. So you can use butter if you want. Obviously I'm vegan, so I'm going to use margarine. But the recipe itself does actually say butter is better. There you go. Right. So what we're going to then do is we're going to add in the oil. So I'm going to use the olive oil and we're going to be doing 1 tablespoon. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we are going to mix this all up together now. So if I take you back to the back of the pan. Okay. And now this is why the second camera is going to work out better. So what you want to do is you want to mix this around. And now what you have, while this is cooking, is you have one pan here that's purely for the veg and that sort of stuff. You've got one pan here that's purely for the rice, and then the idea is they're going to combine towards the end anyway. Okay. So we're going to heat the oil and butter together. So this is what we're doing. We're heating the... So making sure the margarine or the butter melts and creates this kind of nice little liquid at the bottom now. If you can see. We'll try and smooth a little. There you go. Okay. So that's doing its thing at the moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in the carrot, the garlic and the onion all together. Once this is boiled down, which shouldn't be more than a minute, as you can see, the margarine's practically gone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in your your onion, your mushroom, oil. So you've already got the oil and the margarine. Okay. Alright, carrot, onion, and now your garlic is what you've added. Okay, you don't want to be boiling this. You just want it on kind of like a medium-ish heat. And the idea is that all the veg and stuff is going to be absorbing this margarine and oil, and the same with the garlic. So while that's doing its thing, I'm just going to put these margarines back in the fridge, otherwise they'll melt. Whew. So, it's doing its thing, and we're doing this for a few minutes. Okay, we're just doing this for a few minutes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add in. So if we drop it down a bit. You can see what's going on. He says. I'm just trying to get you to see what's going on in there. Okay. There you go. You can see what's going on now. I might just boost this a bit, just so you can see. There you go. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. Hi Charlie, how you doing? We're just making risotto. I am here. I'll come back. Hello, I am here. You're just watching a pan of risotto. Okay, so this is going to be doing it for this bit of time, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to then put in the peppers and the celery. So if we transition back. So that's doing its thing. We're just going to make sure that we keep stirring this. Okay. Risotto's, yep, so we're making a multi-veg risotto rather than say people do mushroom risottos or that sort of thing. We're doing multi-veg this time. So we're going to do the peppers and the celery and the little green beans. Okay, so we're going to add in more colours. So remember, these are meant to be finely chopped. They're not diced, they're nothing like that. It's finely chopped. Okay, so mix that through and then add in these green beans. How colourful that is. Is that looking good? Chat, what do you think? So again, you want to leave this for a little bit of time. And then, we're going to leave this for about 5 minutes now, especially because the frozen beans are frozen. So that's going to take a little bit longer. And then we're going to add in like the tomato puree and stuff like that in a little bit. So that's just doing its thing. The rice here is bubbling away. That's good. So yeah, we'll come back. So yeah, hopefully that's it's going well, and you're kind of making note. I'll just again put the See, I haven't had the Tyrannus risotto Nita because it's got milk in. I did order it from prescription without knowing, and then it had milk in. So I actually gave it to Angela. So I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Has anybody tried it? So I put salt in at the end, Monica. So not actually with the veg. I put that in when we've added in the tomato puree and the final pieces, which is the mushrooms. So we'll add in the salt then. Salt and pepper, really. The seasoning, so to speak. So just pop that there. Just make sure that's rotating round. Yeah, it's very colourful. It's looking very colourful. Yep. So yeah, I haven't tried the risotto. Do let me know what it's like. I should actually ask Angela. She might know. This looks good. It's doing more vegan recipe. Yeah, it's the rice is replaceable, and then everything else is just normal. So there isn't actually. Apart from the rice, there's nothing particularly PKU about this. It's just quite healthy. This is what my dinner is going to be, to be honest. So it's not looking too bad. So we'll just go back to the back and we'll see what's going on. Okay, so as you can tell, you might be able to by the look anyway. It's getting a bit softer now. The veg is getting a little bit softer looking. Yep, so it's going. This looks good. As my angel recently. Yeah, so obviously, if you had the lid on this pan, then it would be a lot quicker. But most people aren't cooking with an audience, so I want you to be able to. I might just stick the lid on for a little bit, but you won't be able to see much because that will steam up quite quickly. So we'll come back to here, and you can watch me for a little bit while it does its thing. I'm not a fan of pepper, just a bit of salt, and if someone could cook me. But if someone cooks, no complaints at all. Yeah, I think it's just the premise that if someone cooks, it's quite a nice thing to take that weight off you in a sense. This looks good. It looks good. Yeah, I think it's looking quite nice. and what's it called? Nice and colourful and healthy and all that. So these are what our muffins are looking like. As you can see, it's quite uniformed. They nearly went off the edge there. When they're cool, we're going to chop them, like slice them, and then we'll do the grill stuff. So actually I'm going to put a 5-minute alarm on for the rice, because then the rice will be done. Let me just put a timer on. So yeah, not pepper. Yeah, I prefer pepper to salt, to be honest. But yeah, the rice is just taking its time. We've put a 5-minute alarm on there, so that should be nice and reminding us that the rice is going to be done. I'm going to get my colander out, ready for the rice. My big industrial colander. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, once this is, we could actually add it in now, is we're going to add in our tomato puree, and we're going to add in the sliced mushrooms too. So if we just go back to the back, I'll take the lid off and you can see what's going on. Smelling quite nice. Yep, so we are now going to add in our tomato puree. So you're wanting about 1 teaspoon of tomato puree. A little bit more. Whoop. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of tomato puree. Then what we're going to do is we're going to mix this tomato puree around. And there you see, no metal on utensils or any of this. Okay, so we got that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in the mushrooms. This is our mushrooms. So again, make sure that they're mixed through. And especially because they're going to be slices, make sure, not like these guys are doing right now, that they actually split up and that they populate the food. Then we're going to do a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Okay, a little bit of salt. And then a little bit of pepper. Obviously you can favour, like Monica said, that she prefers salt and no pepper. That's completely interchangeable, that's fine. We just want to mix this around a bit more. Try and not let things stick to the side. Okay, the rice is slowly getting there. We'll just whack up the heat a little bit more. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pour about 150 ml of water into this pan. So I'm going to give them about 1 more minute with the pan lid on, just to make sure it's doing its thing. And we're going to come back. So I'm going to add in about 150 ml. And I've got a baby bottle now, great measuring resource. 150 ml of water into that, and it's going to bubble it off and boil it off, and then we're going to turn it up to boil. Just to remind you, apart from the English muffins that I tried about midday today, I haven't tried this risotto. This is completely new for me to try. And both of these things are new, and I just found them in a recipe book and decided to try them. So yeah, you can do this too, is what I would say. So we're going to take about 150 ml of water. Okay, that's doing its thing. The rice is nearly done, so I'm just going to get the rice. Hey, look at that. My internal clock is very good. So the rice is nearly done. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take the rice and I'm going to drain the rice, because that's the most vital thing at the moment. Okay. Okay. So we're going to drain this rice, just as I've juggled a few more things. Okay. So we're going to drain this rice. There's the steam. Okay, so we don't need this pan now. We'll put this on a dud at the back. Okay, so we've got the rice. And then what you want to do with the rice is let it drain for a little bit. And we're just going to now add this water to this. So I'm going to take it to the back. Okay, so we're going to put the water in the back now. Make sure all the veg goes around it. Okay. You're going to turn this up to boil. There you go. Okay, so this should now get up to boil. I'm just going to put the lid on just to make it sure it gets up there quicker. While we do that, I will show you how we cut the these. Okay, so I'm just going to get a knife. Main description, and because the edges are actually the hard parts, but the middle is quite soft still. Okay, so we're just going to cut through the middle, and we should come out with things looking like this. Okay, so it should split relatively nicely. Hi Angela, glad you can join us after your nap. Siesta, that's what it's called. I love a siesta. Work life should include siestaing, is what I believe. Because I'm always up till the early hours anyway, so hi Angela. So we've now split them in halves, and this is what will go either in your toaster, but my toaster's quite big, or that's what will go in the grill. So we'll do that once we've finished off the risotto, because these still have a little bit time to cool still. So we're just going to move this. I can see where the Swedish chef comparisons come from, because it is like, whoa, hey, something gets created. Right, so that's doing its thing now. I will show you that it's all bubbling and boiling and stuff. There you go. So as you can see now, it's bubbling off, so it's going to bubble off this liquid. You don't want to bubble it off all the way, but you want to bubble off some of this liquid. Okay. And then once this rice is drained, which it's looking like it's kind of drained, if it's particularly starchy, the rice, what you can do is you can put boiling water over it if you want. My rice isn't looking particularly starchy, but you can always add in a little bit of water to get rid of a bit of starch. Okay, so that's now getting there. So as you can tell, it's starting to look quite nice, hopefully. What do people think? Your housemates are cooking, it's like in 3D. If they're cooking risotto, can you imagine if it was kind of like the comparison? I thought, oh my god, it's cooking what's happening on screen. Right, so this rice is now ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put this rice in. So you've added in your drained rice. And then you'll mix this around. And obviously risotto is quite wet as it is. But what we're going to now do once the rice is all mixed around, so that's what it's looking like at the moment. You can see actually you can afford to have a little bit more rice if you wanted. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to boil it, we're going to bring it to a simmer and we're going to put the lid on. Okay, and now this should get rid of the mixture. Yep, you could use stock if you wanted, by all means. But yeah, so you can add some risottos have vegetable stocks and stuff involved. This one obviously doesn't, but you could add that at that stage by all means. This is now going to simmer and it's going to boil off a little bit of the moisture, but also it's going to retain the moisture a bit in the veg itself. So while that's taking place, we can do these. Okay, so I'm just going to move the camera a bit so you can kind of see the grill. So this is the benefit of the second angle. You haven't typically been able to see the grill before. Does mean that I've got to make sure that everything is cooked. Question, which rice am I using? I use the Promin rice, so that's the rice that I have. To try a slight gelatin form, quite sticky. Yeah, so quite a lot of PKU rice is sticky anyway. What you have to do is you need to put a boiling jug of water or something through the rice to make it less starchy. But I use the Promin rice, so that's what I use. I don't think I use any other rice actually. I think I've tried the low protein one, like low protein one, but I use the Promin one. So we now have our grill, and this is the great way now of me using my actual second camera. Here's the grill. So we're going to put on our muffins. We're going to turn on the grill to about the second highest that you need. And this is kind of like a two-stage process. This is now. Okay, so you've got the grill. That's what it's going to be like. I actually need to go get the margarine again. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put them in, heat them up a little bit, just because you want the margarine to melt onto it rather than stay there. And then we're going to cook them for a little bit longer, and then we're going to put them on a plate with jam. Okay, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to go in. Then we're going to come back. There you go. Yeah, I haven't had the Mavelli rice, but it might be nice. I think the key thing is all PKU rice is going to be sticky to a degree. So it's about the hot water through the rice is the key thing to make it less starchy. I'm getting very warm with the window closed. I feel like I'm in a sauna. of some description. Because everything's kicking out heat. Slowly but surely cooking myself to death. Okay, yeah, you could use butter. I'm sure maybe that might still with margarine too. But yeah, it's just naturally quite a starchy thing. Does it work, Angela, the butter thing? Just open that. See, I would, but I know my next door neighbours are in their garden, so they're gonna look at me, or they're gonna think that I'm quite weird, that I'm talking and no one's responding. So I might have like the mental health services round or something, or I might get them called on me because this guy's just talking to himself and pretending that he's running a cookery show. I don't know. So these are nearly ready to put margarine on. Jam wise, I'm using strawberry jam. You can use any jam that you wish. I tried it earlier with it being at the side, or you can individually spread each muffin if you wanted. So we'll do a mixture of the two, in a sense, just to show it off. We like the pure dairy margarine, apparently what's the charm? I haven't tried it yet. Yep. Let me know that I'm called YouTuber. I think they probably think I'm weird anyway, because I've lived here for 2 years and I haven't actually spoke to them apart from twice. But that's another thing. So yeah, mate, I'll have to try the margarine in the rice idea. Is there like a certain volume that you guys use it in the Kent thing or not? So let me show you the buttering process now. So we're back at the grill. So you want to put on a bit of marge, not too much but a little bit. So obviously individually doing each one. This is because I've made 4. I wouldn't recommend you using all 4 maybe at once. You can freeze these. So I'd freeze them once you've cut them. Just to make it easier rather than defrosting and hoping that you can cut them. So yeah, you don't have to have all of the thing that you make this time in one go. But you can if you're a greedy person like me. If not, you can make a few and then just maybe put 1 or 2 in. Okay, so that's doing its thing. Put a little bit more on that one. Okay, so now this is going to not need long because it just needs a little bit of heat onto that margarine. Oh, okay, make sure you have a mashed potato. Yeah, I could see that doing it. Oh, you're not risking yourself with others' mental health services. Yeah, probably. I'd like to think they've got better things to do. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir. You can't see it right now. But you don't want it to stick. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Tamara is speaking like a true mental health nurse that she is. So she would know that there's bigger issues than me cooking to random people on the internet. Okay, so these are done now, these muffins. So if I show you the back, there you go, they're looking nice and yellow now because of the margarine. Okay, so just going to take these off. Okay, so that's what they're looking like, if you can see. I'll bring them to the front so you're not just looking at my grill. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to turn off the grill Otherwise you'll be cooking yourself to death, which I am doing right now. And then what you want to do is you can either put jam at the side, which you are more than welcome to do. I don't do that just because I love jam. So I'm actually going to put this individually on each one. So a little bit of jam on each one. You can spread it if you want. I'm just trying to not necessarily spread it because quite a nice chunk in the middle might be quite nice. Yep, so now obviously these are sweet English muffins. Okay, so you'll see them from the top down when the risotto is ready. So the risotto might be ready now. We'll have a look. Bring to boil so well. So I'll adjust the camera. Okay, so so this is what it's looking like now. So as you can tell, the liquid is actually mainly gone now, and it's now just becoming quite like a mushy rice, if you can see it. Yeah, I love jam. That's my declaration. I think we're now 5 people watching, so maybe start sharing with us. Yeah, unfortunately, this whole risotto is going to be my dinner. So, sorry. But you never know. I might have to start doing Tom's Kitchen on tour. Who knows? There is actually an announcement that I've got to do at some point, but I won't be doing it today. Yeah, so there's a thing that I can tell you about cooking and me with cooking, but I can't do that right now because it's not within my control. But I think it'll be coming out in the next week or so. But something to do with me cooking even more than I do right now, and different things too. So, but keep peeled to social media, and I'll be sure to inform everybody of that. Doesn't mean Tom's Kitchen's stopping. Tom's Kitchen's still going. It's probably maybe a little bit there's going to be a bit less Tom's Kitchens, but certainly it will keep going, and I will keep sweating myself to death for your entertainment of watching me cook. So this is nearly done, and then what we want to do is we just want to serve this on a plate. So it says in the recipe, which I'll put in the chat because I think Angela wasn't here for when it was. That's the recipe, just for warning or for reference. So it recommends basically to serve piping hot, is what it recommends. So we're now going to get the risotto. I'm going to move the camera so you should be able to see what it will look like. The pressure. The pressure for me to do my camera right quickly. Yeah. I am cooking to death. Okay, so we now have the second camera Whoop. Ta-da! That's what the muffins look like from the top down, and this is what the risotto is going to look like. So we're just going to pour in the risotto. There you go. So obviously naturally risotto is a bit stodgy because of the water inclusion. As said before, you can easily do like stock cube inclusion and that sort of thing. So if you can see, so we got our muffins. You could spread them to make them look a bit nicer if you wanted, but they're the English muffins, and then this is the risotto. So the risotto, if you can see, very colourful, very healthy because it's only really containing 100 grams of rice. If we come back, yep, so it only contains 100 grams of rice, so it's actually not really that unhealthy in a sense, but the risotto looks really good with the nice colours, and that's probably what you get with this risotto compared to say a mushroom risotto, because a mushroom risotto is quite one flavour, one colour kind of thing, whereas this obviously contains, if we go back to the camera angle so you can draw, this has like carrots, it has green beans, has peppers, has onions, so you can see all the different colours that are coming out within this risotto. So yeah, that is, and if we come back, it's slowly starting to see my setup all around me. So that's that kind of. Is there any final questions? Obviously, again, I'll typically take a picture of this and put it up on social media, and let people know, like people see what it looks like a bit more close up. Yeah, that will be my dinner. In terms of just with like desserty kind of thing, and then that's my main dinner. But you can see the kind of portion sizes going on. So that if you stick to the recipe, you come out with a full plate. Now, to Angela and people like that who obviously eat less than the greediness of me, that might be 2 servings, which you could easily put in a lock and lock or a Tupperware, and kind of portion it off to have it in 2 sittings. And these muffins really are, as we only used 1/3 of the dough to make 3 or 4, and that's what the recipe states, you can make as many of these muffins as you want. Is it 2 servings, Angela? It might be more. I don't know. Don't shoot me. So yeah, that's kind of what we've made today. Yeah, so that's what we've made today. Hopefully, 4 portions there. Okay. 2 portions and a bit of salad. Yeah, really easy. Obviously, there's a fair load of ingredients with that, but really easy to do. And actually, this has been one of the shortest streams. And if you only did, so this was about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and then this is actually about 30 minutes itself. So really quick and easy if you're not talking to a camera and talking people through the process. So yeah, hopefully that will that's good. Remember, I had a chat with Alex Pinto yesterday that you could watch. That was about the UK in comparison to Europe and his research and everything like that. Really interesting talk. I will be back with Tom's Kitchen in a couple of weeks maybe, but I'll be back a bit sooner than that for this mystery thing that I can't talk about yet, but I will be able to talk about at some point soon. So, and that'll be me cooking again. So I'm going to say bye, open the window, literally stop sweating. Yeah, and I'll take pictures and I'll put it up on social media. But thank you for taking your time out of your Sunday afternoon/evening. Really means a lot. It's lovely to see the same people and it's lovely to see new people. So yeah, cheers for your time and have a great rest of the evening. So we got if you have 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah, they're quite filling, I hear. So Angela, so Cheers. Thank you for coming, guys. And yeah, have a great rest of the evening. See ya. Bye.